Governor Maura Healey is our guest this morning. Let's go on the record. Managing the state through a tight budget while dealing with the financial meltdown at Steward Hospitals. Her strategies, her priorities. The governor is in the chair. Let's go on the record.
From WCVB Channel 5, the inside word from Washington to Beacon Hill. Today's newsmakers are going on the record.
Welcome to OTR, everyone. I'm Ed Harding, along with News Center 5's political advisor right here today, Ben Cimino. Our Sarman Sigeti is not here, so our anchor, Ben Cimino, is in the chair with us. And as you can see at the table is Governor Maura Healey. Great to have you. Everybody knows who you are, so let's jump right in
All right,
now.
Governor, a lot to get to. Let's start with Steward Healthcare, Steward Hospitals. The company's bankrupt. It says it will auction off its hospitals here in Massachusetts by the end of June. It wants out, but another company owns the land those hospitals sit on. The state, as we know, can take your home to build a highway if it wants to. Can you take a hospital by eminent domain? It's obviously in the best interests of the communities that those hospitals serve. Have you given any thought to that?
Yeah. Well, here's what we're doing with the situation, Ben. Remember, this is a situation that involves 8 hospitals across Massachusetts. It's a situation where their CEO, Ralph De La Torre, basically was incredibly greedy, along with the management team, stripped a lot of assets from those facilities, and so we're in this situation. But we have now for months been managing the situation. Here's what we're doing. I've said from the outset, our priority is maintaining and preserving access to health care, making sure that patients have a place to go, that these facilities remain open, and that we protect the 16,000 jobs that are implicated. So what we're doing is trying to manage an orderly transition of Steward from Massachusetts. We're engaging with potential acquirers. There is a bankruptcy process underway. Frankly, that's good for bringing transparency and the real numbers to this. But our hope is that we can manage a transition to new ownership of these facilities. In the meantime, I've said, Ben, it's important for people to continue to access care at these facilities. We've got monitors on site for patient safety, and it's also important that we recognize, and I appreciate the hard work, the men and women at these Steward facilities, doctors, nurses showing up every day. I'm grateful that they are as we work through this.
Who might take those over? Are any of the other Massachusetts health systems interested?
Well, I think there are a variety of entities out there interested inside Massachusetts, outside Massachusetts. You know, my hope is that we're able to transition these facilities through a process to other nonprofit hospital systems.
And one of the problems here seems to be private equity's involvement in Steward Healthcare and in healthcare in general. Both Congresswoman Lori Trahan and Congressman Steve Lynch have talked about this. The House considering a bill that would kind of really roll back private equity's role to go in and ability to go in and, as you point out, strip these critical community resources of assets they need to manage. Should private equity have any role in our health system?
Yeah. You know, it's a great question, Ben, and I think it bears really strong examination, because what happened here is that there was a private equity company years ago, Cerebus, who came in and essentially worked with Steward management to strip a lot of the assets from these facilities. Later in time, Steward management decided to sell the actual land on which the hospitals were situated to a private equity REIT, right? And then was being charged basically really usurious rent. I mean, the contracts right now are just not where they need to be. That's something that happened here. I think that when it comes to private equity, is all private equity bad? Absolutely not. Is there a role for it? Yes. But we're in the business of healthcare, and it definitely, runs at odds sometimes. The business of making money and the business of providing health care. So this is an opportunity for a reset here in Massachusetts. We are focused on protecting patients, protecting the jobs, and the stability of the healthcare system.
Are you ruling out a taxpayer bailout in this kind of a situation? Are you ruling it out?
Well, we'll work with the legislature on all of this. We've continued to be in close touch with the legislature because this implicates the stability of the healthcare market. And as a general matter, the state does provide a number of dollars to our existing hospitals around the state in form of Medicaid payments and the like. So, we're going to continue to be in close communication with everyone as we look to manage this issue. But I know how important it is that people have access to care, especially care in their communities.
All right, Steward, it's a big issue, so let's push it to the side of the table for a second. Massachusetts offers some of the best health care in the world. That we can all agree on. It's one of the reasons that people do choose to live here, but the cost of housing, however, is driving many people away. So you've made this a signature issue, but prices are still off the charts. What's not happening here?
Well, what didn't happen for a number of years is we didn't build enough housing in the state. It's estimated that we're down a couple 100,000 housing units statewide. So we've got a lot of work to do. It is my top priority. It is why I filed a bill, a bond bill, $4 billion. We went big. What it allows us to do is to go out and borrow money. So these aren't budget operating expense involvement. What it does involve, though, is allowing us to go out and borrow money to then deploy to incent development, which is what we need. Because right now, what concerns me as governor is that the fastest growing demographic of people leaving the state are people 26 to 34.
Right.
They can't afford to live here.
The
Right.
reason they can't afford to live here is housing. We're just talking about healthcare. I sat with a number of hospital CEOs yesterday. The reason that wait times are so long in hospitals and emergency rooms is because of workforce, and we're not having enough workforce. And why is that? We don't have enough housing. So we've been on a campaign, meeting with business leaders who support our proposal, healthcare industry folks who support our proposal, so many organizations around the state. We've got to look for all the ways to increase housing production. If we do that, we'll lower housing costs, we'll see in-migration, we'll see companies relocating here, expanding here. Housing is key.
Okay, Marblehead has now joined the list of communities that are pushing back on the MBTA Communities Act. Opponents claim that mandated multifamily housing lowers property values. It puts added stress on the schools and the infrastructure of the particular community. To that, you say
Misinformation. You know, and this is why we're doing this campaign, explaining to communities, look, we've got to do this, and no one city or town can solve the housing crisis alone. We've got to work as a state. We as a state have already put $6 million directly in play, working with communities and local planners on how to rezone and think about this. And the opportunity. Housing is growth for your community. It brings vibrancy. It brings commerce. These are good things. And also, importantly, it allows your kids and your parents to stay in Massachusetts, stay together in with family. And, you know, it's just something we've got to do. You mentioned Marblehead. I'm disappointed by the vote in Marblehead. And, you know, I looked at some of the information that was being circulated, a lot of misinformation out there. What's important to note is that very few communities have rejected the
I think there's 4 now at this point.
There's some small number. 60 almost communities have already approved the MBTA Communities Act, which, as folks know, was a law signed by then Governor Baker, unanimously adopted by the legislature.
And the state's not going to give in on this. There's going to be no state funding for those communities that vote no.
That's correct, Ben, because, you know, there's a consequence to this. We were really straight with communities that, you know, absent approval of the MBTA Communities Act, you weren't going to be able to receive funding. Now, we're not in the business of withholding funding. We wouldn't want to do that. We want to work with community. And as I said, it's not one size fits all, but we need to act as a state. The impediment to our economic growth, a competitive disadvantage for us as a state, is the high cost of housing. How do you drive that down? Build more.
Let's talk about the budget, because obviously this is something that would be, it's all consuming, right? No matter which governor sits in the corner office, it's all consuming. Senate and Ways Chair Mike Roderick says that he wants to keep the pressure on you as the governor to make the emergency shelter system more efficient and affordable. Do you think that you have been prudent in your spending in that direction?
Absolutely. I mean, we have a law that requires us to house people. This is a federal problem. Remember, the number of immigrants we're seeing in Massachusetts and other states over the border is the result of federal inaction. There was a bipartisan deal on the table weeks ago. Republicans in Congress killed it after Donald Trump said no deal on immigration. It's a shame, because it actually would have provided Massachusetts with significant federal funding to cover the costs we've already paid. Let me say this in terms of the budget. I've said, and I filed a budget that was fiscally responsible. I want to make sure that we maintain our high bond rating, our low unemployment rate, that we make smart and strategic investments in housing, transportation, workforce, and education. When it comes to the shelter system, half of the families in shelter right now that we're paying for as part of that budget are Massachusetts families, folks who've lived here for a long time, born here, grown up here. Half of the shelter housing is for those families. It's certainly the case that we've seen migrants come in. I've managed it by doing a few things, putting a cap what I did last fall, 7,500 families. We capped it there.
But how do you
and we
balance?
we had to balance it.
How do you balance the migrants versus the homeless veterans, for example?
The good news on
how do you balance that?
Yeah, good news on homeless veterans is we've really reduced that number to very few. And in fact, we have capacity. Any homeless veteran right now in our state has an opportunity for housing right now. So we have extra capacity for that particular population that we care a great deal about. But it is a balance. I've been focused on the following: making sure that the new arrivals here, the immigrants, are getting processed for work and are getting employed. We've already processed and got nearly 4,000 work authorizations for those immigrants. They are being plugged in and working right now in hospitality, in our hospitals, in factories around the state. That's good, because we need jobs desperately needed. We need to fill these jobs that really need to be filled. So that's going to continue to be a focus while we work on housing, because as I say, those Massachusetts families, that are living in the shelter system, these are folks who've been here for a long time. Maybe they had a medical issue, maybe they had some other things that threw them into housing insecurity. And we need to the reason we need to build more housing is because we've got people who we can actually place. We've got vouchers, we've got other things that would help us place people. We don't have the units. So it does get back to building more housing, affordable housing and market rate.